What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dummy Wormy, and I'm gonna talk about some box office numbers. It's been a little while since I've done that. I'm excited to do this. Ignore all this chaos back here. It was an accident. It happens. But anyways, well, what numbers am I talking about really? Well, I'm talking about this. Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny. Now, this started coming out like last week or so. That, hey, it broke even. It broke even. In reality, we can't quite say that because I think it needs like another. By the reports that we are given, possibly did break even. But in reality, it needs so much more money for it to break even. Now, why am I focusing in on this? Why am I focusing in on how Indiana Jones did? Because we already know this movie has flopped. We already knew this movie is dead. Nobody's going to see it. Nobody really cares. And when you look at like how much money it's pulling in throughout the week, yes, this is about weekend 1, 2, 3, 4. This is its fourth weekend. Normally movies begin to like dwindle on their income as time goes on. Well, also when you take a look at like how it's been performing. First weekend, yeah, it had decent numbers. Not great numbers, but decent numbers. Second weekend, numbers started to dip. Okay, as numbers start to dip, you get into third weekend, they're even lower and lower. This weekend, it only pulled in roughly, let's come down here. Yeah, about 4 million, maybe $5 million, if that. And this is supposed to be a mega blockbuster. This is supposed to be a summer blockbuster. It took at least 2 weeks to even make it anywhere near the $100 million mark domestically that it took Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to get in one weekend. A lot of people started pointing out after its first weekend, well, it continued all the trends, you know, it made $100 million its first weekend, but that's after you combined both internationally and domestically. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, all the past Indiana Jones movies were able to make that $100 million opening weekend domestically. That is one of the big points. Now, ticket prices have skyrocketed. People aren't going to the theaters as much. These are all tons of factors. That and also the fact word of mouth has destroyed this movie. This is a Disney blockbuster, mega event, Lucasfilm, all that stuff. This movie should be sitting at higher than $335 million right now. Like, this movie should be skyrocketing. Why isn't that? Well, that's because of woke ideas. In fact, Lucasfilm and Disney have crumbled. But on the flip side, a movie that has only word of mouth going for it. All the mainstream media outlets are saying that this movie's evil, this movie's bad. You have crazy people all over the place saying that this is a bad movie. Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom has passed the $100 million mark. Why is this so significant? Why is this so amazing? Because this was an independent movie put out by, I think, Angel Studios. Yep, Angel Studios. And the total amount of money it costs to make the movie, about $14 million. It has long since doubled its budget. It is doing nothing but profit right now. This is a remarkable moment. And when you even take, this is just domestic numbers, because this movie isn't out internationally. Domestic numbers, it's skyrocketing. It has gone well above where they thought it was going to be. This movie is working on nothing but word of mouth alone. It's a deep movie. It's a movie that isn't for the faint of heart. I haven't seen it yet because some of the imagery in there, I'm not a fan of. I know why this movie exists. I know what this movie is trying to call out. I know all that stuff. I can't do it. Little kids, that's something that I'm not denying that it exists as a reality. I'm not denying that this thing actually exists. What I am saying is, personally, I have a hard time even dealing with that subject matter. But when you take a look at like the box office, it's been doing really well. None of these numbers compare to what Indy's been pulling in. But this becomes like the flip side of these two projects. One's more independent, has very little money backing it, but at the same time, and nothing but word of mouth backing it, okay? That's this, okay? Sound of Freedom has nothing but word of mouth, very little backing, people are talking about it, and that's how it's moving forward. Plus, there's ways to get this movie more money, which I think are legitimate, which is the Pay It Forward program, where people like myself who have a hard time sitting through this imagery, who might want to see the movie but just can't do it, I can still buy a ticket and help somebody else who wants to see the movie but can't afford it go see this movie. That is a fantastic project. That is a fantastic idea to help these style of movies get out there, get more publicity, get more tracking, and get more eyes on these deeper, darker movies, even though they're also really good movies. But what I'm also pointing out here is this movie's made nothing but profit as of this point, like well in advance. Once it crossed that $14 million mark, which roughly it did opening weekend, it has done nothing but continue to roll in all profit, which is next level. Well, on the flip side, Indiana Jones, even if you take it at face value that, hey, it's broken even, still hasn't made any profit. Because once you break even, you still have to pay out your theaters. You still have to pay out your these people, this people, that people, this people, interests, what have you. This movie is far from broken even yet. But even if it hasn't made any money. $0 in profit has been made from this movie. A movie that has backing by Disney, Lucasfilm, all sorts of mainstream media. Profit supposed to be big summer blockbuster. Guy could speak blockbuster event. And it hasn't grossed a single penny. That has to tell you something. And the reason why I'm using, Indiana Jones as the example here and not something like Mission Impossible is because Mission Impossible was going to do good either way because of Tom Cruise. Now, I think that movie's having some issues. I think it's doing relatively well. I haven't looked at that. I'm not a big Mission Impossible fan. But when it comes to like this, which has your corporate donors, your big publicity stuff, all this stuff here, it should be skyrocketing. That's how the rules work, right? Well, it's not. Well, on the flip side, something like Sound of Freedom is doing much better than any of this garbage we've been shoved at our faces for a long time. And that's the whole point I wanted to do with this video, is something that has nothing but word of mouth has been able to make more profit. Profit is the key word. Than something with international box office, big budget people, Disney, all that backing it. And I think that's a great thing. I think that's a fantastic thing. And I think that shows not quite the Iron Age in this situation, even though Sound of Freedom is more of an independent movie. It does show that people's attentions are dwindling from the corporate giants, from the Disneys of the world. They're starting to go other areas, and they're starting to go to things that are not what we've been given for the past several years. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it out, friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.